Hi, it's KhoPhi here. The DJI FPV drone has been out for some time now, and as someone who recently started flying actual FPVs, it got the conversation going in my head, and I was thinking whether it's something I would want to get for myself or want to invest in. Here are a few thoughts I have about the DJI FPV drone. I don't know if it's in the country yet. I would want to get my hands on one and probably do a review. I don't have any plans of buying that drone yet, but here's what I think about it. Someone tell me if it's insane or it makes no sense. The features currently on the DJI FPV drone, could it have been a software update to, let's say, a Mavic Pro or Mavic Air? When you look at the FPV drone, it's not small enough for me to say I would want to use it as a cinewoop. So for a drone like that, was it not possible to simply make a software update to the firmware or whatever to allow a Mavic Air fly like an FPV? And what I mean is, for a drone to be considered FPV, basically it has to be able to give you absolute manual control mode where you can decide to fly upside down, roll, do flips, and go down like this and up like that. Pretty much that is where the element of FPV comes in, where you can also wear the goggles. So within whatever feature or they've added to the brand new FPV drone, could it not have been a simple update to an existing Mavic series drone? Even if they decided to make that update or that software feature a paid version, so they could say, to get that feature on your Mavic Air, you need to download a firmware update which costs, let's say, $100. That would have been a lot more easier for people who already own Mavic series drones to give it a test. Plus, they already have their own drone functionality, because the two modes on the FPV drone at the moment are things that already exist on Mavic series drones. The extra layer, which is the manual mode, is what takes it a step further, which personally not something that was that interesting to me, considering the FPV drone already does what the Mavic series drone does. But in any case, this DJI FPV drone is a win-win for DJI, and I want to share why I think so. First of all, the beginner FPV pilots who would want to test the waters when it comes to flying I see them happening in two categories. The first category is going to be those who want to own an FPV drone for the sake of owning one, but will probably not fly FPV for, let's say, 95% of the time. They're just going to use the normal mode because they don't want the full control mode, and they are not interested in, pushing the limits when it comes to flying FPV and stuff like that. They're just going to enjoy the two modes on it, the sports, the normal mode, and capture all their shots like they normally do. But in their arsenal, they're gonna have an FPV drone and consider themselves FPV pilots. Well, that works. DJI wins in that category as well, because they've sold you $1,300 drone, which you're gonna use what made it $1,300 just probably less than 5% of the time. DJI wins because you could have bought a Mavic Mini for that functionality, but anyway, you want the brand FPV, so DJI gets your money in that area. The second category are those who really want to dive head into FPV, and they're going to learn to fly the full the manual mode and try to push the manual mode to the limits possible. That area to DJI wins. Those in that category, DJI is going to win because the chances of crashing, it's going to be there. It's possible, unless you are a pro FPV pilot who is buying the DJI FPV drone, which I don't know why anybody would want to do that. Like, if you're already flying, your 5S and your 6S and whatever quads you have with strong frames and whatnot, why would you want an DJI FPV drone? Maybe for the other features, but those who would want to get into it as beginner FPV pilots are likely going to break their drones. Gonna squeeze something, gonna crash somewhere, you're gonna break an arm, they're gonna break something, a gimbal, and they're gonna need replacement. DJI catching, they're gonna cash in on that area as well, because everything about the drone is proprietary and stuff like that. So they're gonna sell you parts for, let's hope for good prices. But if those prices are extreme, then you're on your own, and DJI is gonna cash in on that area as well. Personally, will I buy a drone like that? I currently do not know and don't think I would want to buy a drone like that. So personally, those are my thoughts on the DJI FPV, and I think DJI is going to capitalize on the beginner hybrid approach to make a lot of sales and probably make their money without actually getting people to fly FPV. I wish all FPV pilots the best, flying with the DJI FPV, and I pray you never crash it, because if you live in a country like Ghana and you happen to crash your FPV drone, all the best trying to find a replacement, you probably have to, again, ship it into the country, and you'll be paying probably $50 on shipping. So all the best, unless you can get somebody coming down. In my case, I have the Freestyle Echo Quad and I have the Cinewoop, and I've crashed those FPV drones a lot more than I probably should. I've had to crash a lot, but the drone is still intact and it's still strong and still has absolutely no issues. So if flying with the FPV drone from DJI, I don't know, it probably will be sitting on the shelf somewhere broken, where I have no idea where to get the part. I really would have loved to see them make a software update to the already existing Mavic series, and at least start from that angle, and if it works out well and people really love the idea, they could make a dedicated device. But instead, they are like, let's push the device out there and, sell some plastic for the name of FPV. In any case, that's it from me here. I would like to review a device like that if there is one in the country, and if anyone wants to, anyone buys it here in Ghana and wants me to have a look at it, will definitely want to experience it and see how it flies. Anyway, thanks for joining me. My name is KhoPhi. I recently started flying FPVs. I'm based in Accra, Ghana, and will be sharing my experience when it comes to flying FPV and whatnot. You can check my channel, FPV Africa, here on YouTube, and you should find some of my videos. So thanks for joining me, and we'll hope to talk to you in the next. Bye.